And this is a calling for me, and it should be a calling for all of us to go help our people in Houston.
Coming up on KGNS News, a group of Laredo police officers answer the call of duty as they head out to help the people of Houston. Plus, due to refinery closures in the state, gas prices are on the way up. And residents living near the Old Mercy Hospital are concerned about another fire that happened over the weekend. KGNS News starts now.
Coverage you can count on from your good neighbor station. This is KGNS News Evening Edition.
Good evening and thanks for tuning in to KGNS News. I'm Ann Hutera. No relief for Southeast Texas while Louisiana now braces for Harvey's wind and rain. The storm continues to dump rain on the saturated Houston metro area where thousands of rescues have taken place with many more to go. Meanwhile, President Trump got a first-hand view of the storm's wrath. Karen Kaifa reports.
Harrowing stories.
He went out and kayaked through the rising waters and he went and got help.
The boat was small, so they have to take the kids and women first. And they said they came back for us. They coming back for us, but they never did.
Amid Houston floodwaters, thousands of rescues, but a city is still trying to keep up.
Don't give up on us. Seek the higher ground. We will get to you.
Harvey's soaking rain is setting records for the continental U.S. South of Houston, in Brazoria County, a dire alert. The Columbia Lakes community was part of a mandatory evacuation on Sunday, but to anyone left, officials warned get out after a levee breached.
The biggest concern is the few folks that may have disregarded our warnings, and we don't want anybody hurt.
President Trump and First Lady Melania Trump arrived in Corpus Christi, slammed by Harvey's landfall on Friday, for a first-hand look and to praise ongoing cooperation.
It's a real team, and we want to do it better than ever before.
Meanwhile, the Pentagon said the number of National Guard troops in Texas is going to rise, and they plan for a long effort.
We will be doing life-saving and life-sustaining efforts for a much longer period due to the nature of this storm.
Harvey is expected to make another landfall on Wednesday and is also dumping rain on Louisiana, where flooding rescues took place in Lake Charles early Tuesday morning on the 12th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina. In Washington, I'm Karen Kaifa.
A group of Laredo police officers are on their way to Houston as we speak to help other law enforcement agencies. They're answering to a call that they say is their duty. After seeing the devastation and how many need help in Houston, they decided to gather a group of men in blue and head out there to help.
We have several men, brave men that stepped up to the plate and said, hey, you know what, we're going to go and help out.
Well, the officers are going on their own time as volunteers. They say they requested extra leave, but it was denied. They'll be there for a few days. Now, coming up on KGNS News at 10, we speak to some of the men in the group and how, without hesitation, they were able to recruit a group of not only officers, but civilians and military veterans. Well, many in the community are asking where they can donate to make it easier for everyone. We here at your Good Neighbor station have compiled a list of local drives. To see the information we've received so far, just head on over to KGNS.tv to check out the KGNS app. Click on the Extras tab. Well, after a natural disaster, communities always come together to donate to the victims. But do you know there are actually some items that could hinder recovery efforts instead of help? So knowing what to donate is important. Now, according to howstuffworks.com, one of the first things that a lot of people think to donate is clothing. But according to FEMA, clothing is rarely a useful item. This is because it takes manpower to sort the items, make sure they're clean, repackage items, and store them or get them to their destination. Shoes are another item that falls under this category for the same reasons. Blankets are another item you want to be sure is needed before you donate. Now, many relief organizations stock blankets to have ready for when natural disasters hit, and they're seldom in short supply. So unless a request for blankets is specifically made, you may want to think twice about donating that. Now, another example is stuffed teddy bears or toys. While this may be a welcome sight for a child, many people are trying to find basic necessities like food and water. So the need for something like this may come much later on, and in the meantime, it has to be stored. Many also think about donating pet supplies, but those 50-pound bags of dog food have to be shipped or transported to their destination donation, which takes resources and money to do. It's recommended to make a monetary donation to an organization that specializes in caring for animals during natural disasters. So what can you donate that's going to help out the most? Experts agree monetary donations are best, but always make sure you're contributing to a legitimate organization that's providing disaster relief, like the Red Cross. And if you're donating through social media or by text, be wary of scammers. Well, drivers could soon see an increase at the pump as Texas continues to deal with Tropical Storm Harvey. KGNS News reporter Yoselin Gallardo is live with more on changes you might be seeing the next time you fuel up. Yoselin?
It is being reported because of the severe weather on the Texas Gulf Coast. 10 refineries have been shut down, and the gas prices will see that impact. According to Gas Buddy, a gas price tracking app, a hike of 15 to 35 cents per gallon will likely hit the Gulf Coast region, while the national average could rise 5 to 15 cents. Analysts predict prices won't increase dramatically on the east and west coast. The national average gas price Monday was $2.36 per gallon, up 3.4 cents from last week. But experts do say these prices typically go back down to normal prices within 2 to 4 weeks. Reporting live for KGNS News, Yoselin Gallardo.
All right, thanks, Yoselin. Now, Gas Buddy says in the past, gas prices have risen 20 to 80 cents after big storms, including hurricanes Katrina, Rita, Ike, and Isaac. Well, September and October are considered the busiest months for mosquito breeding, and the Laredo Health Department's already seeing a surge. Director Hector Gonzalez, director of Laredo's Health Department, confirms that just last month, one resident in North Laredo tested positive for the West Nile virus. Now, he says since the discovery, mosquitoes have been tested, and none have tested positive for the virus. Gonzalez says mosquitoes that could potentially carry Zika have been found since last year, but none have tested positive. He recommends to always use repellent on skin and clothes, and if you have the symptoms of a rash or fever, to immediately contact a doctor or visit the health department. The individual that tested for West Nile has been treated.
We're a subtropic region or an arid region, and so we have mosquitoes all the time. It's just where we have a lot more breeding is both in the fall and in the spring. That's when we have the most breeding, but they're here all year round, so we've never stopped in Laredo and in Webb County. We've never stopped larviciding, cleaning up.
There has been one Zika case in town this year, but was travel related. All pregnant women are required to test for Zika in Laredo, even if they're not showing any symptoms. A child passenger safety class is taking place in South Laredo. Judge Danny Dominguez is collaborating with the Texas Department of Transportation to bring child passenger safety classes to South Laredo. The classes are being held to help individuals who have received unrestrained child citations, but are open to the public as well. Now, the classes will be held tomorrow, August 30th at 10 in the morning and September 6th at 2 in the afternoon at the Webb County Justice of the Peace Courthouse. That office is located at 901 South Milmo. The city of Laredo has created an ordinance that they hope will stop the neglect of animals. It's the first of its kind in the state of Texas, and it's starting here in the Gateway City. A registry for individuals who are convicted of animal neglect. Now, this registry, brought forth by Councilman Albert Torres Jr., gives public officials a means to prevent the escalation of abuse and neglect towards animals.
This is just a resource for the community to be able to use to try and ensure that we are proactive, and if we're going to be giving a dog or cat away or adopting out or fostering for agencies themselves, just an extra resource so we can try and make sure that they're going to a great home.
Starting September 1st, the community will be able to see these offenders on the City of Laredo website. Coming up tonight at 10, we'll hear the number of animals neglect cases the municipal court sees every year. Questions on the progress of Old Mercy Hospital still in the minds of not only local residents and the city, but also a committee dedicated to finding a solution. KGNS News reporter Brenda Camacho stopped by that committee meeting and shares with us the ideas that were tossed around. Brenda.
And tensions were high at the Old Mercy Hospital committee meeting as board members and property owner continue to look for solutions as to what to do with what many people call an eyesore. Several of the things discussed at the meeting include creating a deadline for the property owner to have the property meet the full operation codes, which include boarding up windows, cleaning up the property, and maintaining the fence, and that the owner gives the committee constant updates on the building's progress within that time. If these code operations aren't met, then the owner can't start getting daily citations, something the owner says they've already been receiving at least twice a week. Something also discussed at the meeting that was of concern to residents and members was a fire that broke out this Sunday night.
Yeah, I mean, there was a small thing going on there, but that wasn't much. I went out there and it was cleared up pretty quickly.
Not seen them, that's why I said subject to call. Yes, sir.
We spoke with the Laredo Fire Department, who say this was the second trash fire that broke out in the last few months. The ad hoc committee is planning on making a presentation of the recommendations to for the property to City Council on October 16th. Reporting live in front of Old Mercy Hospital, Brenna Camacho, KGNS News.
Thanks, Brenda. Now, also discussed at today's meeting was the possibility of a feasibility study to be done by the Laredo Housing Authority as they are looking for more property for affordable housing. Well, now let's take a live look at Houston right now. We have a shot of what the skies are looking like over Houston. Still a lot of clouds out there, although you're starting to see a bit of the sky there. Heat wave, I know we were talking about the showers they've seen today. They've been light, but they're starting to die off over Houston.
Yeah, the trend is for the system to move further east and then northeast out of the Houston area. They could still have some showers overnight, but the real heavy rains appear to be winding down there. The Beaumont area has been getting the heavy rains. It's shifting further east in Texas and into far western Louisiana. We're 96 degrees. We have northerly winds at 15. The air pretty dry. I'll have more weather in a few minutes.
Still ahead on KGNS News, District 4 City Councilman Alberto Torres hosts the first of 5 town hall meetings to answer the needs of his constituents. Details coming up. District 4 City Councilman Alberto Torres, along with other city officials, held the first of 5 town hall meetings in his district. He wants to hear firsthand what improvements his constituents would like to see implemented in their neighborhoods. Richard Noriega has more.
As you said, Ann, it was the first of several town hall meetings that Councilman Torres wants to host over the next few weeks. Among the issues his constituents brought up, more police presence, community policing, speed humps to discourage speeding, and park improvements. Residents were very clear about what they would like to see.
We'd like to see if it's possible to have more vigilance from police and better drainage, because at the corner of our house, water gets trapped and it's a problem. It would be nice if he would give us a hand with that.
I want to see action and not promises like others who make promises but don't deliver on those promises.
Something else residents in District 4 would like to see is a neighborhood cleanup, which they claim is long overdue. They want to see better lighting and new tarps at city parks, such as Eastwoods Park, where this town hall meeting was held. Councilman Torres says he has requested that his district be named a neighborhood empowerment zone to encourage residents to make needed improvements as part of a beautification project. More about that tonight at 10. The second town hall meeting set for next month. Reporting from Eastwoods Park, Richard Noriega, KGNS News. Ann, back to you.
All right, thanks, Richard. Now, some good news to update you on. You may remember the photo of a resident in a Texas nursing home trapped in floodwaters. Well, here they are now, safe, sound, and dry. They're now in Alvin, Texas, at a facility there, and they're all resting comfortably. Sunday, a photo went viral on social media showing them trapped in waist-deep water in Dickinson, Texas. Now, many on oxygen and wheelchair-bound. They were later rescued and moved to their new home away from home. And good to hear that heat wave. I remember when I saw that original picture at first, I had to double-check to make sure that that was a real picture, not Photoshop, because it was just so shocking to see that, but glad to see that they're all now in a safe place.
Yeah, I had the same reaction. I checked to see that it was a real thing going on, and it was so nice to see that they did get rescued. It
was. And I know the rain dying off in Houston, but the problems are not over. We're still going to have to deal with the flooding there.
Oh, this is going to be an unfolding situation over many days with unprecedented river flooding over a large geographical area. We got up to 97 today. pretty close to where we belong this time of year. We actually had a little bit cooler as far as nighttime temperatures go and low humidities. Here's your sunrise sunset data. I'll have my full weather report after this.
It's time for your KGNS First Alert weather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Richard Heatwave Burler.
Good evening. Harvey is beginning to move more to the east and then northeast, and that would take it up the Mississippi Valley. Places like Memphis and the lower Ohio Valley could get 4 or 6 inches of rain. Still possible tonight for Houston to get additional showers, but the real heavy rains have shifted into far eastern Texas and western portions of Louisiana. So the Houston area, the weather conditions are improving, but the river conditions are still yet to crest, and it would take a while for all that to move south and eastward into the Gulf of Mexico. So this is a pretty long-term event that is still yet to occur in that area. The browns show in the mid-levels of the atmosphere dry air that's been over us, preventing us from getting any rain. We've seen cumulus clouds, but they haven't been able to grow tall. Moisture, which shows up as green, taking a path through the Gulf northward into the western Gulf states and then curving back southward towards the Houston area, Beaumont, eastern portions of Texas, western Louisiana, a focus of heavy rains. And all this would be shifting north and eastward. We will have our dry air, so our skies will be mainly fair, our weather coming in from dry western locations south and eastward into our part of the state. In South Texas, skies have been partially clear, fair weather, cumulus clouds, no rain in our area, and temperatures pretty warm. Most areas still in the mid-90s at this point, and the dew points are low, no Gulf of Mexico humidity. Even at night, dew points will be low. It will be comfortably dry with the winds from the north and west, Gulf of Mexico humidity being blocked from moving west into our area. So the storm system producing the rain still in eastern Texas and Louisiana, and that would be the case during tonight, but the emphasis will be shifting north and east into the Mississippi Valley. We have relatively dry air coming in from the north and northwest. So as we go through tonight, I'm expecting mainly fair, comfortable humidities by morning, low 70s, and as we go through the 7 days, upper 90s to around 100. We may start to see some Gulf of Mexico humidity. A weak disturbance may develop in the central western Gulf. I'll show slight chances of showers from that more humid air Sunday and Monday. I may be a little bit optimistic, though, showing a percentage as high as 20%, but hopefully a few lucky spots would get some at that time.
But warm the next few days.
Yeah, with a little bit more sun and a little influence from the west, temperatures a bit higher.
All right, thanks, Heatwave. Ryan joining us. What do we got in sports tonight?
Busy night in high school volleyball, including an all-Laredo ISD matchup in district play. We got that coming up. Plus, the Texans' J.J. Watt trying to do his part in raising money for the relief efforts in Houston. Find out just how much the NFL stars raised and how you can help out next in sports.
From the gridiron to the links, it's time for KGNS Sports with Ryan Bailey.
Tuesday brings a full slate of high school volleyball that includes an all-Laredo battle in District 31 5A. Matchup of the night here in Laredo will come at Sigal Row as the Toros play host to their LISD foes from Nixon. The Mustangs coming off a dominating performance last Tuesday night in a sweep of Roma. Then they won the consolation championship this past weekend's Longhorn Fest tournament. Sigal Row, on the other hand, they battled to the very end in their district opener against Pioneer, but came out on the wrong end of a 3-2 final. These two will see the ball go in the air in just a few minutes, while over at Martin, the Tigers get their first home district game taking on Rio Grande City. Some non-district action going on down at United South. They will play host to both St. Aug and Freer in a tri-team match, while Alexander hits the road for the Valley in a tri-match of their own against both Edinburgh Vela and Nicky Rowe. As the relief efforts continue around Houston, more and more athletes are getting involved, trying to raise money to help those in need. One of the most outspoken so far has been the Texans' defensive lineman, J.J. Watt. He is not only donating his own cash, but calling on others to help out as well. Watt put up $100,000 to start with, then had the goal of reaching $200,000. That lasted no time, and then it was on to a goal of $500,000, then $1 million. As of today, the response has been overwhelming, passing the $3 million mark.
$5 here, $10 there. It's just donations from all over. It's so crazy to watch. So thank you guys. I know you're wondering where the money's going to go, and I just want to let you know that it's going to go directly to the people. I'm working very hard yesterday, today, and all week to make sure that this money goes directly to the people, not to administrative fees or anything like that. So please keep donating. youcaring.com/JJWatt. Houston, stay strong. We are with you.
Other big donors to the fund include Tennessee Titans owner with a $1 million donation and new Rockets point guard Chris Paul $50,000. The new goal is set at $4 million. If you want to help out this cause, you can go to youcaring, that's all one word, .com/JJWatt. While the Texans and Cowboys are set to play in Dallas, the season opener between UTSA and the University of Houston has been put on hold. The two teams were supposed to open up this Saturday in San Antonio from the Alamo Dome. That has been postponed, though, because of the flooding. The Cougars were able to get out of the city ahead of the storm, but have been stuck in Austin this week trying to get ready for the game. Obviously, though, their minds haven't been on that contest.
Obviously, football is important to all of us, but the first thing is Houston, you know, as our city. And we constantly talk to our guys about representing the city of Houston because it's across our chest, and that's where our thoughts and prayers are daily.
So far, there has been no makeup date announced. Next up for Houston, a trip to Arizona next on September 9th. They will face the Wildcats there, while UTSA will go to Baylor on that same evening. Finish up in sports on the courts of the United States Open over in New York. A couple of big upsets already on the women's side of the draw. That includes Maria Sharapova, back from her suspension using performance-enhancing drugs. She immediately topples number 2 seeded Samantha Halep. Sharapova, a 5-time major champion. She hadn't played in a Grand Slam event in 19 months. She made her return in impressive fashion. Another big story from today, defending champion Angelique Kerber. She's shown the door in the opening round. Japan's Naomi Osaka took care of the German star in straight sets. On the men's side of action, Rafa Nadal, he survived a bit of a scare in the first set this afternoon, then he had little trouble down the stretch. He takes care of Dusan Lajovic in 3 sets to move on the number 1 seed on the men's side.
You know, going back to those donations, it's good to see all these athletes and teams coming forward and making these donations.
Coming forward, helping out, and hopefully we see more of that.
All right, thanks, Brian. We'll be right back. Coming up tonight at 10, several Laredo police officers are heading to Houston to help with recovery efforts. We caught up with them before they left. Plus, committee members in the city of Laredo discussed the Old Mercy Hospital after concerns over another fire there this weekend. And a case of West Nile virus in town has the health department issuing some precautions. Those stories all coming up at 10. And a last look at our weather, Heatwave.
A comfortable evening all the way through. Humidities will be low, and the winds will end up being pretty light once we get to mid-evening and beyond. 93 or so at 7 o'clock. We'll still be pretty warm at 10. We'll be in the mid-80s at that point. And as we go on towards midnight, about 81. But by morning, temperatures in many locations just over 70.
We could see 100 in the next few days, somewhere in there.
Yeah, I would say the best chance would be on Thursday, but not far from it tomorrow.
All right, that's our time. We'll see you back here tonight at 10. Have a great night.